This is a really small project. It is less than 1,000 square meters, but it has made so much of an impact on the way we started thinking as architects, as a practice, as well as the way you want to do more for the people who are underprivileged. It's changed a lot of our thought. So this is the Nokha Village Community Center, and it's located 200 kilometers away from the closest city. So which means to get there, you take a flight and then you drive down for 2.5 hours. It's a very small series of villages where this is. And on the top is the client's existing house, and this is where their father, who had passed away, his last rites were done. And they actually came to us with this sketch saying that we want to build a memorial for our father. So I told them this will be like a temple, and don't mind my saying it, but people are not going to come to worship your father. So let's make something for the community. And when we studied the place here, there are 144 small villages. There is no proper school. There are schools, but they don't have facilities. There is literally no space for people to gather and enjoy a festival. So people put up tents and then they take them down when the festival is over. So this is a school which is 500 meters away from this plot. And this is the way the children are studying there. No furniture, no library, nothing. So this is the site with respect to the sun direction and the location of the last rites, and the client coming to us saying that I want a memorial. But the good thing is that when we told them do something for the community, they agreed in 48 hours. And so we started building this. It started as a small sketch done on a flight where built a loop around the existing location of the last rites, and then thought back as to how the Indian courtyards used to be cool spaces to use. But we also realized that this would limit the number of people. So we opened it up towards the northern side and then extended the arms to get further protection from the sun. And then finally, because we were told the mandate was that we have to build within 10,000 square feet only, or 1,000 square meters, we said let's make the spaces more usable. So the rooftop becomes a garden. It spirals up from one side, you go up and you come down on the other side. And then there's a water tank that we created in the northern side, and the soil from that water tank creates earth berms on the south, east and the west, protecting the building still further from the excessive heat in Rajasthan where this is located, which is in excess of 45 degrees Celsius in the summer months. So all the services and utilities are built on the northern side, but at a level lower than the community center. So when you're in the community center, you don't see these facilities. So that's the earth being used, which was excavated for the water. And the water tank was made very deep. It's 9 lakh liters based on the 30 days of rainfall in this region. So the project is completely self-sufficient in terms of water. And it's all built in real stone sourced from the region. Very simple floor plan. It houses a museum which tells their father's story in the narrow portion, and the higher portion, which is bulbous, forms a children's library accessible to all the village children in the region. So that's a cross section showing the open auditorium in the courtyard space and the longitudinal section, and that's the way the building looks. In the middle of a desert, just a tiny little green patch. So there are scoops on the southern side which allow light into the museum space below. That's the roof plan. And the building as it is seen from the eastern side. And that's the south. So it's a double loop slope on the garden. So you go up on the shallow side, reach the top, which is like a viewing space, and come down on the other side. So this building was also done during COVID with 6-hour video calls because none of these villagers had built anything which was slightly circular or curvilinear ever in their lives. In fact, they would come and just look at this and say, okay, how can this be a building because it's all round while it was being constructed. So that's the museum space, and this is the library space. So it's the first digital library in a 200-kilometer radius. And the stone screens form an accordion, reduce the heat gain into the building. And in 42 degrees, although this building is designed with air conditioning, there is no air conditioning used. So just some more images. So as mentioned earlier, very, very sustainable, built completely in the local stone, built by the local labor taken from the villagers themselves, completely self-sustainable in terms of the water capacity and not relying on any external water source. Waterproofing done by traditional methods. So the most important thing that we learned about this building is that small 9,000 square feet can actually generate 45,000 square feet of usable space, which is 5 times the size, including the open space in the center as well as the rooftop garden. The great thing that this building did is that because of the goodwill that it created with all the villagers and by giving these spaces which they did not have, the clients and other people from the region have started thinking on how they can make buildings to further have an impact on these villagers. And our second building, that earlier school photograph that I showed you, is now being made into the first girls' school in a 100-kilometer radius from this site, and it's already under construction. So I was sitting, talking to these students, understanding what they wanted. Believe it or not, they said that we don't need anything. You saw the images of that earlier school. They actually said that we don't need anything, we have everything. And I mean, it's just amazing to see how these people are so satisfied with what they have. And then we started speaking further and said, what about a dance studio? Okay, what about cooking classes? So then they agreed and said, yes, that would be nice, that would be nice. So this school on a sloping site with a courtyard that steps up along the contours is under construction already and will be completed by the end of this year. And then very close to this, on one of the visits, I saw this old 200-year-old Shiva temple which was existing. So this was literally like, I was telling people that, you know, how can you have a 200-year-old Shiva temple which people come to, there are no toilet facilities, there's no community facility, there's no gathering space. So this was a case of where we convinced somebody that let's do something for the village, and this project has also just started. So it is being built completely in local stone again with lime plaster walls. The existing temple are those 3 white domes that you see on the top, and that's being kept as it is, and we're stepping down based on the existing contours, creating all these community facilities all around it without disturbing the existing temple. So finally it will look like this, stepping down. And then we're also doing a large step well in the corner, which again is calculated based on the water requirement of this space. So there's a direct influence of the blue city of Jodhpur, which is the closest city to this village. So that's a step well in the corner which will supply water for the entire facilities that we are building now. And this is a movie on the Nokha Community Center. Thank you very much. So this is a project that impacted us as architects to do more buildings as a social initiative to improve lives for people who actually don't have access to facilities like this. Thank you.